Welcome to the Spotlight segment. This is a segment dedicated to interviews with developers or interesting happenings in the world of Android. And now for this week's episode, here's your Spotlight. We now move on to the Spotlight segment, and of course we're having our friend Diane Ducharme with us here to talk about the newest features of the BlindShell Classic 3 with the AI and all of that. Diane, we want to welcome you again. It's been a while we last saw you, and I'm glad you are back with us here to talk about some of these new developments that we have with the new phone. Let's talk about what BlindShell phone is in the event that someone is listening to us for the very first time before we even talk about some of these new features.
All right. Well, thank you, Warren. Glad to be back. I can't believe it's been, I think John said 3 years, which time flies.
Was
so
it 3 years, John, or was it 2 years ago? 2023, or was it 2022? I think it was 2023, no?
It was more than 2 years. Yeah.
It was more than 2 years ago?
Yeah.
It's been a while.
Don't be hiding. Okay, go ahead and talk to us about this.
All right. So the BlindShell Classic 3 is an accessible cell phone. So what makes it accessible is, well, number one, it does have everything talks and you can talk to it. And also it has tactile buttons. So I'm going to quickly give you a visual, if I may, of what it looks like. So it's about 5.5 inches tall, about 2.5 inches across, and a little less than 1/2 inch thick. So if you're familiar with the BlindShell Classic 2, the hardware is pretty much the same, except the buttons are more pronounced. The dot on the number 5 is more pronounced. And actually the material that the phone is made out of is stronger. But it does have the same feel as the BlindShell Classic 2. So there's no learning curve there. Every button is the same. So on the front of the phone, there is a screen, and 99% of the time, your screen is going to be for display only, meaning you can tap on it, you could do whatever you want, you could pick it up, it's not going to activate anything. However, if you are in a third-party app, you can turn on the touch screen to help you with that app. So underneath the screen, we have our navigation buttons. There's one bar on top of the other. Think of them as an equal sign. So the BlindShell is menu driven. So those bars take you up and down through the menus. Top one is, think of that as your top arrow. That one goes up the menu. The bottom one goes down the menu. With BlindShell, all of our menus wrap around. So if you know something is towards the bottom of the list, you could just hit the top bar to get there quicker. There's a tactile answer the phone button. It's a round button. And then there's a tactile hang up the phone button, which I greatly appreciate because there's been many times when I thought I hung up a phone call on my iPhone. Turns out that I didn't. So you get yourself in some trouble that way. Underneath the navigation buttons, you have your tactile keypad, pronounced dot on the number 5. On the very bottom of the phone, like if you're looking at the bottom edge of the phone, is your standard USB-C charging port. On the very tippy top of the phone, you have a standard headphone jack, and there's a protrusion, which is for the flashlight. On the left skinny side of the phone, you have your volume rocker switch. On the right skinny side of the phone, you have the dictation button, and that's probably the button that is used most often on the phone. On the back of the phone, there's the camera, and there's the little area where it reads NFC tags. It'll read way around tags, script talk, stuff like that. There's a recessed button. That's an emergency SOS button. You can program whoever you want back there. And then if you take off the back of the phone, it'll sound like you're breaking the phone, but you're not. But that's where the external battery is. So our battery lasts a Of course, depending on like if you're one of those people that are YouTubing all day long, of course it's not going to last as long. But generally, I only charge my phone every 2 or 3 days. That's how long the battery will last. Underneath the battery, there's 2 SIM card slots and an SD card slot, and those are all micro-sized slots. So that is the physical description of the phone. Do we want to take questions from you guys, or do you want me to keep going?
Yeah, so I have something to ask since we're talking about the physical description. So so this is literally the same size. Like if you have a case from the BlindShell 2 Classic 2 and you want to upgrade, will it fit the same case, or is it not the exact?
Yes.
Okay.
It should. Yeah.
All right.
Now, Diane, you mentioned some interesting features there in hardware-wise, and the one thing I didn't hear is the fingerprint reader. Does it have a fingerprint reader?
It does not have a fingerprint reader, no. It does not require you to put in a passcode. Now, you can put in a passcode and lock your SIM card, but there is not a passcode to get into the phone.
How about speaker-wise? Is that a monaural, or are we talking binaural? I can't even say the word. Is it stereo speakers or monaural speakers?
It's stereo, and we tested it because we work a lot with TEDPA, equipment distribution programs, and it was tested at 100 decibels for the speaker. So it's good for somebody who has a hearing impairment.
That's good. And it has a fun, what's that, headphone jack? I can't even talk today. Does it have a headphone jack?
Yeah, it does have a headphone jack.
It does have a headphone jack, and you can also Bluetooth as well.
Nice.
Okay, and can you mentioned it had a USB-C port. Can you use USB-C headphones with that port?
You can, yes, and you can also put a plug in a USB-C keyboard.
Okay, so you just mentioned Bluetooth. That reminded me. The last time we had you on, you said the only Bluetooth devices that could connect were audio, so you couldn't connect like a Braille display or a keyboard or anything like that. Is that still the case, or is this?
No, so the Bluetooth has greatly expanded. In fact, as of October 26th, they did a system update, which really improved the Bluetooth as well. So yes, you can do Bluetooth hearing aids, you can do headphones, speakers, keyboards. Now, I haven't, since the update, I haven't tried a Braille display yet, but that is something that I'm going to check out to see if that now will pair with a Braille display.
That's really great to hear, because I know that last time the regular Bluetooth keyboard, for example, if one had a USB-C or whatever keyboard that connects via the OTG cable or whatever, that wasn't possible. But now that this is possible, I think it makes all the difference, because sometimes, yeah, I know it does have a physical QWERTY keyboard on there, which makes typing a whole lot faster. But there are those times that one has a little foldable keyboard that one places in his or her pocket and just would like to use that instead. And since it supports that, I think that's a big change in my never to be humble opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. And you'd be surprised how quickly you pick up the old way of texting as well, using the keypad of the phone.
That's right. I haven't done that in a while, and I would love to be able to try that again. So we'll see what happens.
Well, so you mentioned texting. So this might be a tough question, but I'm gonna ask it anyway. One of the biggest things that I didn't like about the BlindShell Classic 2 is that it did not support MMS. So you couldn't send or receive picture messages or be a part of group chats over text messaging. Has this changed, or is that still the case?
So as far as texting goes, you can now participate in group texts. You can still not get a picture sent. You could get a picture sent to you by email. You could use WhatsApp as well, and Tandem, which is another new app that I can talk about later, but you can do that through Tandem.
another thing, this is kind of a minor pet peeve I had, but so not a big deal. But I was wondering if you can reprogram the SOS button, because last time I tried it, all you could do is set it to a specific contact, which you can kind of already do with any key on the number pad already. So it kind of felt like a kind of a pointless button to me that I wished I could remap. So I'm wondering if there's anything else you can do with it, or if the functionality is the same.
The functionality is the same, if I'm understanding what you're asking. Yes, so you can program that SOS button to either a contact, or you can put in any phone number that doesn't necessarily need to be in your contacts.
Okay, gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Dan, let's talk about some of the new things, actually, before we talk about some of the new things, let's kind of have a little bit of a reminder on, third-party support, because nowadays people are into WhatsApp, and of course it does support WhatsApp. Does it support Telegram? Because these are probably some of the two top apps that people use for communication purposes, and I know it does support WhatsApp. How about Telegram? Does it support Telegram?
So it used to have Telegram on. I don't know. I could look in the third-party app section and see if it's there. I know it wasn't used much by BlindShell users, so that's why they took it off of the Classic too. But that's a very good point. I haven't checked to see if it's on the Classic 3. Because we use Aurora as our third-party app store. So if it's there, then it should work on the phone.
And in other words, if Classic user phones like a particular app to be featured, this is something they could request, and the more requests you have about a certain app, the better chances it has to be brought to that store, correct?
Absolutely, yes. So as far as BlindShell goes, if they get a lot of requests for an app, like Bard, everybody wanted to have Bard Mobile on there. So they work to get that. And if there's an app that somebody really likes, and contact the developers of that app and see if they'll put it on the Aurora app store.
Just to make sure, do you still have Spotify on there?
Yes, we do. We still have
that's great.
Spotify. Yep.
Yeah, that's great.
Sally is a Spotify kind of kid. So if we don't have Spotify, that would
He's
kind of
not
rub him
interested.
wrong.
Yes. Understandable.
I have to give him a bad time,
Yeah. So with the third-party
Yeah,
app
that's true.
store,
Yeah.
the third-party app store, you can also do iHeartRadio, and there's different streaming sources
Yeah,
that
like
you can
YouTube
also get.
Music too.
Yeah. You gotta have your music. We do have Lady A is also in the phone, so if you have a playlist on her, you can access that as well.
So just to be clear, the Aurora App Store is different from just the BlindShell catalog, because last time I used one, there was just the catalog of BlindShell apps. Are these two different things?
Correct. So with the BlindShell Classic 3, you can do third-party apps. So now people can have Uber Lite on their phone, Uber Eats. I have Netflix, Prime. And the cool thing about those is if it's a show that is audio described, it'll automatically start playing that show with the audio description on your BlindShell. So you now have the ability to check out the Aurora store. Now, of course, not every app is going to work, because it'd just be impossible for BlindShell to be able to monitor every third-party app. The apps that are still in the BlindShell catalog, yes, those are guaranteed to work. The third-party app store, I tell people, try it and see if it'll work. Many times people are pleasantly surprised that an app that they didn't have access to and on the Classic 2 will work for them on the 3.
So these apps that you get from the Aurora store,
Mm-hmm.
they're not necessarily like re-engineered to work with buttons, and this is why you have a touchscreen that you can now use. Is that correct?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So when you interact with these apps, this is another question I had.
Mhm.
When you interact with these apps using the touchscreen, does it use the same talkback gestures that you would get on a regular Android phone, or is it a different way of interacting with the screen?
That is a tough question because I don't really know how TalkBack works. All I know is if you get to an app and it doesn't seem to be working well with the buttons, I've just been able to do the swiping across and just tapping on it. So
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah,
Would
so that sounds like it's like a talkback or voice over.
Yeah.
It supports those because a lot of times people swipe to interact with the app in question. For example, so let's say I brought up an app called John, and it's not something that supports the keyboard.
Mhm.
And if I swipe, maybe it should have maybe if it has like tabs. John's backyard or whatever. I should be able to tap on that tab.
Yeah. So,
So, yeah,
I have experience with Apple products, so generally that's how I would work with the BlindShell touchscreen is just swiping and tapping.
yeah. So it supports like basics, swipes and stuff like that. And unless one has one to try, but I think that generally, as long as it supports those basic gestures, like trying to get to the elements on the screen by swiping, I
Yeah.
think that's probably the one that's supported, and that would come in handy for people who like to swipe.
Correct. Yeah. But again, if somebody doesn't feel comfortable with that, the touchscreen, you can disable it.
Okay. So you can actually disable it like fully so that it never is activated, or does it just
Correct.
activate? Okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
So I've got another question. I can see that the Tandem app is now on Google Play. Can anyone download it if not using BlindShell products?
Sure. So Tandem is a way that you can connect with somebody else. So as long as the BlindShell user has the person in their contacts, they can send them a Tandem request. And the Tandem request can go to somebody with an iPhone, somebody with an Android phone, or somebody with another BlindShell Classic 3. A lot of our customers help each other out that way. So somebody will send a request and the other person will be able to remotely take over their phone. So if you have an iPhone or an Android or BlindShell, you will be basically inside of that other person's phone. And the BlindShell user that did the request through Tandem has complete control. They could hear everything you're doing. If they don't feel comfortable with you being in there, they can just hit the back button and get out of it. Nobody can call you and say, hey, I want to Tandem you. The BlindShell user initiates the call.
This is something really like potential. Like maybe in the future, you guys can think about making it much more public. Like any Android users can tandem each other rather without using a BlindShell product. Yeah, maybe it could be with a subscription or something like that, so people can help each other. Yeah, that's just an idea, though.
Yeah, so right now you can help each other.
Yeah, but it's limited to BlindShell products.
Oh, I see.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
this is a
This is
really
a
good
business
idea.
idea, right?
I love it because you know what? Many times that you have someone with an Android phone, because I do a lot of tech support for friends and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
I do that
And
too.
you have someone, and you've got to say, "Hey, can you maybe call me on a different phone or call me from your computer using Meet or something of
exactly.
that nature?"
Yeah.
So I'll be able to hear what you are doing on your phone. And having this product kind of reminds me of using JAWS for
You know,
Windows, and you have that, and you take over someone's computer and be able to kind of help them out, saving both of you time. It
for
will be a nice business for you guys
that
to
would
figure a
take
way
a
of
lot.
using it on Android without the need of a BlindShell phone. I think that would be a win-win situation in my books. That's a
I
good
can't
idea.
tell you. Yeah, I can't tell you how many times that I would say to myself, "Oh, if I could just take over their phone, I could do this for them." Because
You know,
yeah, it's
we could save a lot of time, and in return, we can pay some bucks for it. I'm definitely okay.
okay. I will bring that up to them. Yeah.
Yeah, so
So
tell whoever out there,
Yeah,
Diane,
yeah,
that the
okay.
boys on Android want this thing to
yeah.
work on
We want
every
that,
Android
and
phone out there.
you
We'll
know,
pay for it.
we want
Subscription or
that, and
whatever.
we
That's great.
need that, right?
And so with excuse me, with Tandem, you can also send files, you can do video calls, you can do chats. So
But
it's more than just the remote control, but I think the remote control is the most fascinating feature of Tandem and the most
but,
helpful,
but
especially as a trainer.
this is bringing you business. Just think about it, guys.
It is. It's absolutely another way of streaming business
In
out there. I
in
mean,
in
even if you charge $2 a year or whatever, that's a lot of money coming in.
your in Warren's words, it's a lot of moolah coming to you.
Exactly, exactly. So I didn't know. Was this a new development or has it always been? I wasn't sure if it was there on the previous
No,
versions or
this is new.
models.
That
This
this
is
is
new.
and it can only be done on the BlindShell Classic 3, not on the 2.
I'm loving you guys already. So this is
Yeah,
beautiful.
definitely. I'll keep an eye on this because we really need it and we want it. Yeah.
All right. So moving on, and speaking of new things, this has AI now, right? That's another thing that the BlindShell 3 has that the 2 doesn't.
It does, yes. So it has Luna. Luna is the name of our AI, and you could use Luna to ask any kind of questions. You can get sports scores, you can get the schedule of your favorite team. You can ask Luna anything. You can have Luna take notes. You can have Luna tell you a joke. You could have Luna create a story. Like if I wanted to say, I could say to Luna, Luna, tell me a story about Warren and his cup of tea. She could create me a story, and I could use Luna. The most exciting thing that people find about Luna is I can add a contact using my voice. So that was a struggle for some people to be able to add a contact to their phone. So now I could just ask Luna to create that contact.
That's cool. So this, do you know what this is using on the back end? Is it Chat GPT?
Correct. Yes.
Okay, cool. So, I mean, it sounds a little silly, right? But this is so awesome. Like ever since I have Gemini, especially on my watch, like it's just to be able to ask any question and just get a quick answer that easily is like a great feature to have. So, I mean, I could see it, this is a great feature to have. It's fun if nothing else. But like you said,
yeah. It's and it's educational as well, because I can ask Luna, describe the flag of the United States, and she'll tell me what that looks like. Or I did a demo for New Zealand, and I asked her all kinds of questions about New
Well,
Zealand, and she,
you can also ask how to say certain things in that language, right?
I've never
Sally
tried
always
that.
likes languages, so that's why he's
I'm
thinking
sure
about it.
if ChatGPT will do it, this will probably do it, right?
It'll do it.
Yeah. Mhm.
Now, does it use the camera on the phone? Can you point the camera at something and ask the AI assistant about what's in view?
No. What you can do is, well, we have Be My Eyes on here, so we have the Be My AI, so you can do that. But there's also a new BlindShell app that's only available on the 3 called Observo, and I'll demonstrate that quick. So this is what we have: 8 different voices on the BlindShell. This is just one of them. There's like 20 different languages built into the phone. So if English isn't somebody's preferred language, they can switch it out. And then also, like, for example, I had a customer who was from El Salvador. So he was kind of getting how to use the phone, but not really. So I switched his phone to Spanish, but then I went into Spanish and there was like 100 different countries I could choose from. I found El Salvador, turned it on, and he was a totally different student. So, sometimes just switching out the language for somebody can help them understand it. So I'm going to open Observo. I'm going to use the dictation button on the side.
I listen after the beep.
Open Observo. So what will happen is the camera will open and it clicks to let the blind person know that
Press the confirmation
camera's
button to take
open.
a picture.
So I'm just going to hit the OK button and I'm going to point my camera outside of my window here.
Image description. 1 of 5.
So with Observo, I could either get an image description, I could go down.
Text recognition.
Text
2 of 5.
recognition. So I love the text recognition because sometimes you get a package in the mail and you use Be My AI to look at. I love Be My AI, so I'm not really knocking them, but I'll take a picture of that package with Be My AI and it'll tell me it's a brown box and it'll tell me the counter is speckled and it'll tell me I have purple socks on. It'll tell me everything except what I want to know. Who is the package for?
There are feet. There's
I
a
like
person's
the
feet
purple
in the
socks,
in the
Dan.
picture. I've gotten that so many times. I'm like, I know my
Exactly.
feet are
So,
in the picture. I don't care.
I hate that.
Yeah. So this will only read you the text that it sees in that picture. So it eliminates all that other stuff. So that's the text recognition. It also
3
has a
of 5.
color identifier built into Observo.
Banknote recognition.
It has
4
a
of 5.
currency identifier, so it'll tell you what bills you're holding out.
Translate text.
And you
5
can
of 5.
translate the text as well. So there's, oh gosh, I don't even know how many different, well, probably about the same, about 20 different languages that you could translate your text into.
Image description.
But I'll do image
1 of
description.
5.
So I'll hit OK.
Loading. The view through a window screen reveals a sunny suburban scene. 1 of 4. A light brown house with white trim sits on a green lawn, a silver car parked nearby. 2 of 4. A white fence borders a gray driveway, and trees with autumn-colored leaves fill the background. 3 of 4. The sky is blue. 4 of 4.
So it'll give you a very quick description. I didn't have to go into an app and click on, take picture and all that other stuff. So I really like Observo for going through my clothes quickly. It'll tell you if, your shirt is striped or polka dotted or whatever. You could quickly use it to pull something out of the cabinet as well and just snap a picture of it. And then whatever images you have in your camera roll on your BlindShell, you can go back and see what those are with Observo. So it'll identify new pictures and also things that you've already taken.
Nice. So I have a feature request.
Okay.
Well, actually, it's a question, but if you can't do it, I would like it to be added because one of the things when I was using the BlindShell Classic 2 for the short period of time, I didn't like that it told me it was going to listen after the beep every time I held the side key. So I'm wondering.
Okay, yeah, it doesn't do that anymore. That I just turned my phone on. It does that only the first time you turn it on, and then it just will beep. So like now, if I just let me back out of that. Open email. So you heard it just beep.
Diane.
Yes.
Ducharme.Diane@g.
All right.
Notification.
Okay, good. I'm glad that's been
Yeah.
changed.
Dan, I must say that I actually like the image description you just demonstrated a little while ago. That's really neat because you're not necessarily calling on a third-party app, but it's just right there, and whatever AI source it used, I mean, it's just right there. So I like that for the simplicity and ease because let's be honest, it's not always often that everybody likes a complicated way of doing things or whatever. Those things are sometimes for power users, but I like the simplicity and the ease that this one has. And I'm looking at like my elderly blind people here because I'm not talking about you young people out there, but we got the spectrum covers both the young and old. And so when we have something of this nature that makes it easier for other people to use this type of phone, I'm so happy we have this. This is absolutely excellent.
Well, I thank you. And yes, so in the beginning, the BlindShell was aimed at the senior population, but as the BlindShell grew, our demographic has gotten younger as well. So it's not just your seniors, or seniors do love it because of the simplicity that you're talking about, but now the younger crowd likes it because our YouTube is ad free. So, and it's so easy to find what you're looking for on YouTube. We have, again, the Spotify, the iHeartRadio, we have Zoom, we have Bard. So whatever, I use it so much for work because I work with a lot of sighted people who don't like to push chairs in. So when I walk into a conference room, I'll snap a quick picture to see what the layout of the room is today so that I don't know if I'm going on a minefield or not. But so it has many applications now that appeal to somebody who is a higher end techie user. And it's just a fun device to have with it being menu driven. I use the hotspot all the time. If I'm in a car, I'll connect my laptop to my BlindShell so that I can do work. And it's given, especially the Observo and the Be My AI on here, it's given people a whole new level of independence. I have customers who tell me all the time, like they will take a picture of their granddaughter's graduation, and they'll get a layout. The boys are wearing blue and the girls are wearing white, and sometimes you don't necessarily want to ask a sighted person what's going on, and sometimes their description is so uninformative that now having the ability to find out things for yourself just creates a higher level of independence for people.
I know this is kind of getting long, Diane, but let's talk about reading because I know a lot of people like to read. I love to read.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to us about reading. Does it have any reading apps, for example, or has the capability of reading? And if it does, what formats does it support?
So yes, we do have Bard Mobile on here. We have Libby. So if you have a library card at your library, you can download a book from Libby and read that. We have Dolphin Easy Reader. So if somebody lives in a different country and they can access their local library through Dolphin, they can do that as well. We have LibriVox, which is a reading source. They're all public domain books read by volunteers. You can download a book if you say have a book in Word or a PDF or something like that. You can download it into your document reader and read it that way as well.
So in other words, it has something called a document reader that what one could use with when it comes to Word document or PDF, because one of the challenges that people have, and oftentimes it has to do with both the Word documents, the docs, and PDF files. Some of these things are still a challenge to a lot of us because it's like trying to find the right app to be able to use that. And I'm looking at the Microsoft Word document app itself, and I'm also looking at Google Docs and all of that. For the most part, these things are not even very good as they are. So if this phone has its own document reader that's able to read these Word documents, I think that's really good.
Yeah, so I've downloaded, what I do is if there's something that I want to read and I can't get to it on my PC, I'll email it to myself and then open my email on my BlindShell, save it to my document reader and read it that way. It reads PowerPoints beautifully. Even if there's an alt text in the picture, it'll read that as well. So it's pretty powerful document reader, yeah.
So what about carrier support in the US and pricing?
So the end user price is $690. However, what I tell people is always check with your equipment distribution program in your states, because many of them are now providing the BlindShell Classic 3 if you have a disability. If you're not in the US, I know Canada said they have funding for people. New Zealand has funding for people. So check your blindness agencies to see if they have the ability to purchase the BlindShell 3 for you as well. And as far as networks, I tell people the easiest thing, you don't want any headaches, go with either T-Mobile, Tello, Mint. Anybody who uses T-Mobile towers, you'll put the micro-sized SIM card in and you're good to go. AT&T does work. Sometimes it requires an APN change. Sometimes it doesn't. I can't figure that one out. Consumer Cellular works fine. Verizon will tell you it doesn't work on their network, but it most certainly does. If you put a Verizon SIM card in there, it'll work. If you get a person who will think out of the box at the Verizon store, they just need to create a default SIM card, geez, now I have the Warren issue here. A default IMEI.
Binaural.
And then they can, create that SIM card with that default IMEI, and it will work just fine.
Yeah, so this is not a surprise. The carriers are the problem here, especially when you're dealing with major carriers. It's not that it won't work. It's that they want you'd have to buy a phone from them, so they're only going to approve certain phones on their network.
Exactly.
I remember when I tried the BlindShell Classic 2, it wasn't technically, I think technically the only thing supported at the time was T-Mobile, but I got it to work on Cricket, which uses AT&T towers, just by popping my SIM card in, and it just worked. Yeah. So, I mean, especially the major carriers, they might give you a hard time, but if you're on like an NVMO that uses their towers, but they're kind of a smaller carrier, they're not going to give you as hard of a time.
Exactly. And the Classic 3 also has the ability for Wi-Fi calling.
Oh,
cool.
That's really neat.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you are talking about Consumer Cellular, and I think that Consumer Cellular is like an MVNO on AT&T, isn't it? Or is it on T-Mobile? I'm almost positive it's on AT&T MVNO. So yeah, these things do work, but like you said, John, sometimes you go to the main provider and they want to give you a little bit of a runaround. So if you're on an MVNO, most certainly it would work. And of course, if it doesn't, always call them. I'm sure they'll work out something for you.
Yeah, hopefully. If they don't try to convince you to buy one of their fancy smancy $1,500 phones.
Yeah, exactly.
Now here's
give it to you for free, and
yeah, but you end up paying $3,000.
Yeah, but then you have to pay them $100 a month for 36 months.
Yeah.
Oh boy. Now, so here's the big elephant in the room that we haven't addressed, and probably that should be enough questions for you. Do you know if this thing is only supporting like an LTE 4G, or does it support 5G?
It's 4G.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, but we haven't had any issues with people who live in a 5G area. It still seems to work.
Yeah, 4G is definitely fast enough for most things.
Yeah.
Especially with everybody else using 5G. You get a little more bandwidth.
There you go.
Yourself.
It's freeing up the space. I never thought of it like that. Yeah, so the BlindShell 3 has come a long way from the BlindShell 2.
Good. And Diane, how do people get hold of this? I know they could go through a state agency, for example, maybe rehab, or some other place like that, and see if they could get it through them. Now, someone who doesn't want to go through that and is able to afford it on their own, how do they get hold of this? What's the address, like the website? Do they have a website they could go to? Or are there some distributors across the country, I'm talking especially here in the States, that people could just go to instead?
Yes, so you can go to blindshell.com. You could order it directly from there. We do have a U.S. warehouse. The product does come from Prague, but we do have a U.S. warehouse. We have a U.S. Repair center, and we also have a US based customer support line, and that number is 520-605-3569. You could call that number and order one, or like I said, you could go to the blindshell.com website. You can send an email at info@blindshell.com. And we do have many distributors across the US. So you could check out your favorite place that you buy your blindness products and see if they have it. Several of them also offer payment plans.
Well, thank you so much, Dan. I don't want to see you waiting another 3 years before you come back on here.
Yeah, I'll
Because I
come
can't
back.
believe it's been that long.
I know.
Frankly, I thought it was back in 2023 that we had you. But if it's been more than 2 years, then, girl, let's not wait that long again.
Yeah, okay. And, the big question that we're always asked is, will it work with my smart glasses? So as far as smart glasses go, I was at one of the big conferences over the summer, and I played around with the Agiga glasses, and it worked with the Agiga glasses. And as far as the Meta glasses go, with the latest update, it will connect to your Meta glasses.
Awesome. I actually was supposed to ask you about this because Ed couldn't be here today, and he was like, "Ask her about the Meta glasses support," and I completely forgot. So thanks for saving my butt there.
That's a brand new update. It's probably something I'm not supposed to talk about, but that's a brand new thing. I know it's going all over viral now. Everybody's like, "Did you know our BlindShells can connect to our glasses now?" Yeah. So, actually,
Nice.
Yeah, one of our distributors let the cat out of the bag before me, so
all right.
Can't get in too much
and don't
trouble.
worry, nobody listens to this podcast anyway.
80 million people are contacting BlindShell. Diane,
yeah, I now know that it works with it. So, guys,
so
if you
that's
have
not
one,
an official.
just,
That's not
don't
an
be afraid.
official release from BlindShell. That's Diane as an end user. That yes.
That's okay, Diane. We'll cover for you. You're
Okay.
fine. Yeah, well, I'm glad, this type of things are in the works because it's important, most especially for those that have those devices and would like to be able to take advantage of the additional stuff that may be or may not be available natively on the phone. So I'm glad we have something of this nature.
Yeah, I am too. So, and it's our customers that, they don't want just the status quo of a phone that works well for seniors. I have a customer who did his taxes on our internet browser. It's just, the phone will grow with you. So whatever you want to do with it, just test it out. And if it's not doing it yet, tomorrow's another day. Just, we look forward to people's requests and comments, and because that only makes our product better.
One last question, which I should have asked earlier on when we were talking about hardware, and I promise there won't be any more questions. How much storage, internally? I know it does have a support for an SD card. What capacity does it support? Can I throw in a 512 gig SD card? Or is it limited to maybe 256 gig or 128 gig, that kind of thing? And also, what's the internal storage like?
So I'm probably going to get this wrong. I think it's 32 gig internal storage. I could be wrong because also
Yeah,
26
on the
is
website, it shows 33 gigs of internal storage
okay.
and 3 gigs of RAM.
Okay, thank
Yeah.
you.
Mhm.
Thank you. As far as the SD card goes, I have a 256 in mine, but one of my customers has a terabyte SD card in
Oh,
hers.
that's my kind of a person right there. I like all that
Yeah.
storage that I can find, because you know what, you can throw on books on there and all of that good stuff. And so, yeah, I'm glad it supports that capacity. That's really good. Well, thank you
Yes.
so much.
Sure. Thank you.
Well, Diane, thanks again for coming on. And like I said, don't wait too long. Um, don't wait another 3 years.
Okay.
3 years is too long a time. I remember that song about, Carlene, and 10 years is too long a time. This time, 3 years is too long a time. Come back on, girl. Let's talk.
I sure will. When I will come back and keep you guys updated.
Thank you so much, Dan.
All right.
And if someone wants to reach you, they could just reach you through the website, or is there a different way people could reach out to you
So
or
you
your
you
customer
can
service?
email me. It's Diane, Diane, at BlindShell, BlindShell.com. So Diane at BlindShell.com. And what's actually interesting is, so BlindShell is doing this thing every month where we had to send in a picture of us in elementary school. So they're featuring us on their website, all of us as little kids. And what is this? Oh, I think I was October, so you missed it.
That's
Nice.
funny.
Nice. Well, thank you so much. We appreciate it that you are here with us to talk to us today, and looking forward to seeing you again, most especially next year when we start our open listener and developer session. You'll have to come on. We just had one last week, and probably it's my fault. I missed your email address, so I wasn't in touch. So blame that on me, not you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Thank you
Sounds
so
good.
much,
Yeah,
Dan. We
sure.
appreciate you.
All right. Thank
Bless you.
you.
Thank you so much.
Yep.
Bye.